Welcome to Spurs Focus, your go-to spot for daily Tottenham news, transfers, and match updates. Don't forget to support the channel by hitting that subscribe button now. Let's dive into today's top story. Thomas Frank has quickly transformed Tottenham into a fearless, attack-minded side, but there's still one glaring gap in his squad. With Son Heung-min gone, Spurs are yet to find a true, natural fit for the left flank. Despite late window reinforcements like Xavi Simons and Randall Kolo Muani, Frank may still wonder if Bournemouth's Antoine Semeno, now one of the Premier League's most improved forwards, was the missing piece of his Spurs puzzle. There has not been much for Thomas Frank to complain about since he was appointed Spurs head coach, but from the outside looking in, there still appears to be one missing piece of his Spurs jigsaw. When beloved skipper Son Heung-min departed for pastures new in the MLS with LAFC, it was clear he would need to be replaced. Yet how do you go about replacing a player who is virtually irreplaceable at Tottenham? It's no secret Spurs were striving to land two attackers in the final week of the summer transfer window, and they got precisely that in Xavi Simons and Randall Kolo Muani. Perhaps it was a surprise, however, that another striker as opposed to left winger arrived in the form of PSG outcast Kolo Muani in what was undeniably an opportunistic loan swoop that helped bolster Spurs' depth at the top end of the pitch. While Simons can operate from the left flank, he is primarily a number 10, even if he likes to drift into a wide left role and come inside onto his stronger right foot. That is what happened when he made a notably explosive impact from the bench in the second half at Brighton. But it's clear he was predominantly signed to create from central areas. Wilson Odobert flattered to deceive on his first Premier League start at the Amex, while Brennan Johnson is currently facing an uphill battle to pin down a starting berth under Frank. Mohamed Kudus has already locked down the right wing role, and Johnson's minutes have fluctuated since the beginning of the season, despite netting in consecutive matches at the start of the campaign. While the rest of Frank's side looks near complete, the left flank has become somewhat of a problem position, despite the vast amount of options at Spurs' disposal, because no player looks a nailed-on, natural fit. Back in June, Tottenham made an inquiry for Bournemouth's Antoine Semeno. The response from the Cherries was firm. They had no intention of selling, and it would take an offer in the region of £70 million to alter that stance. Spurs decided to look elsewhere, but on the basis of his recent form, he would certainly have been worth a punt. Tottenham had cash at their disposal. For several weeks they flirted with a big money move for Manchester City's Semeno, but Pep Guardiola's side were reluctant to do business with the Europa League winners. At 25 years old, Semeno is now rapidly approaching his prime, and it would not be a shock to see him at the centre of a transfer scramble in 2026. Despite signing a new deal with the Cherries this summer, he already has 5 Premier League goal involvements to his name, 3 goals and 2 assists, and he would have added some much-needed speed, skill and firepower to Frank's forward line. Manchester United were also interested, but neither United nor Tottenham had any intention of getting close to Bournemouth's sky-high valuation of the Ghana international. Transfer fees, particularly in the Premier League, have become more inflated than ever. Some may feel it would be frowned upon or risky to blow £70 million on a player like Semeno, who in the past has shown patchy form. But on the flip side, the results could have been frightening. Frank has developed a proven track record for developing talent, and while the likes of Mathys Tel and Odobert still have huge scope to develop, there are no guarantees they will fulfill their untapped potential in N17. The signing of Semeno would have represented a statement of intent, and after his opening day brace at Anfield, Spurs could have been forgiven for wondering if in fact he was worth the cash. For now, Simons is likely to receive further opportunities from the left because João Palhinha, Rodrigo Bentancur, Pape Matar and Lucas Bergvall have all started the season in impressive form. When Dejan Kulusevski returns to fitness, there will also be increased competition for places in central areas. However, Semeno's 1 versus 1 and ball-carrying ability would have provided Frank with something different, and it's clear to see he is one of the Premier League's, if not the most improved players in recent seasons. It really feels as though he would have been a great natural fit for Frank's daring attacking football. Gareth Bale has opened up about life after football, revealing how he's embracing family time, golf and a normal life since hanging up his boots in 2022. The Welsh legend, who retired at just 33, says his days are now filled with school runs, holidays, and enjoying the moments he once missed during his glittering career at Tottenham, Real Madrid, and with Wales. Welsh football icon Gareth Bale has shared insights into his new life in retirement after bidding farewell to his football career at the age of 33. The Cardiff-born superstar ended an extraordinary career following the 2022 World Cup, retiring as Wales' most capped player with 111 appearances and their all-time top scorer, having netted 41 times in the iconic red shirt. He also guided Wales to 3 major tournaments, with the campaign in Qatar marking their first World Cup in 64 years. On the club front, Bale kicked off his career at Southampton before rising to fame at Tottenham Hotspur and securing a then world record £85 million transfer to Real Madrid. It was there that he clinched 5 Champions Leagues and 3 La Liga titles, cementing his status as one of the most decorated players of the modern era, as he wrapped up his playing days in MLS with Los Angeles FC. Less than 3 years after hanging up his boots, Bale concedes that his day-to-day life now looks quite different indeed. Speaking to Wales Online at the Gareth Bale Festival of Sport at the Celtic Manor, the former winger spilled the beans on how he's spending his time in retirement. Here's what he had to say. Since retiring, Bale has been making the most of his newfound free time, dedicating as much of it as possible to his family. Bale, who tied the knot with his childhood love Emma Rees-Jones in 2019, is a proud father to 4 children, Alba, Nava, Axel and Xander, the youngest born in 2021. The pressures of professional football often meant that Bale missed out on precious moments with his growing brood. Now he's making up for lost time by creating unforgettable memories with them, including holidays to Abu Dhabi, Lapland and the United States. In a confession that will resonate with many parents, the Welsh football icon admits his kids keep him very busy, with a lot of taxi driving now featuring prominently in his daily routine. "I'm just doing a bit of everything, having a normal life really," he shared with Wales Online. "I'm with the family quite a lot, spending time with my wife, playing some golf. I'm doing the normal things and not having too much to do, but enough to keep me busy. I knew football wasn't going to last forever. I'm just spending time with my family, enjoying that time. I'm keeping involved in football by doing some stuff on the TV, but my kids keep me very busy. It's great to now have that time to spend with them and not be away every weekend and missing a lot of them growing up. So yeah, just being able to go out and be a dad, finally. I'm still relatively new into retirement, so I'm still enjoying that phase of relaxing a bit and enjoying being around my family a bit more rather than being away every week. I'm enjoying watching my kids grow up, as I feel I missed a lot when I was playing. So it's great to be able to spend time with them. I'm spending time a bit of everywhere. To be honest," he added, "the kids are in school, so can't go to too many places. But yeah, a bit of here, there and everywhere really, seeing friends, family and enjoying that time relaxing." With his children aged between 4 and 12, Bale reveals they're beginning to dabble in various sports, football included. Yet despite his status as arguably Wales, if not Britain's finest ever footballer, he's determined not to pile pressure on them, should they choose to follow his path. "They're all trying and doing as much as they would like to do," he said. "I've got too many kids, so there's a lot of taxi driving, but it's about encouraging them, and I just want them to enjoy it for what it is. I don't care if they become anything, I want them to enjoy the sport as a kid, playing with their friends and getting real fun from it. My son is getting into football more. They're so young. I just want them to enjoy playing football. I don't want them to have any pressure on them because of their surname. I just want my kids to have fun and enjoy football for what it is, like I did when I was younger. Obviously I was lucky enough to then make a career out of it, but I just want them to have fun playing with their friends." Thomas Frank had plenty to discuss after his Tottenham side fought back to draw 2-2 at Brighton on Saturday afternoon in the Premier League. Spurs went behind just 8 minutes into the match at the Amex Stadium as the Seagulls scored from their first attack. Jorginho Rutter curled a pass into Yankuba Minte's run, and the Gambian attacker outpaced the stunned Tottenham defence, rounded Guglielmo Vicario and poked the ball home. Brighton doubled their advantage on 31 minutes with a rocket shot from Yassin Ayari that Vicario should have done better with. Richarlison grabbed a key goal back before the break for Spurs, when Mohamed Kudus's shot struck the Brazilian in the box, and he hooked the loose ball home. The visitors were the better side in the second half and created a number of chances, with substitute Javi Simons playing a key role. The leveller eventually came on 82 minutes when the Dutchman picked out Kudus on the right flank, and the Ghana international's cross hit Brighton defender Jan-Paul van Hecke on the leg and deflected into the net. Our Tottenham correspondent Alasdair Gold was among those putting the questions to Frank after the draw. Here's the full transcript from the press conference at the Amex Stadium. Yeah, very happy with that. Spoke about mentality before the game, to the players. That to go down here against a good Brighton side, away from home on the back end of our first Champions League game, it's all about mentality. Of course, we need structure and tactics and game plan and all that. We like to praise ourselves as coaches, but in the end of the day, it's mentality to stay in there when it's tough. And I love the way we started the game, away from home. Just boom, on top of it. I don't think Brighton were over the halfway line in the first whatever. I can't remember when they scored, 10, 12 minutes or whatever it was. Then they scored a goal where, praise to Brighton, we can do better. And it's like this close to being offside. We keep going, keep on it. And then great goal, but Vic can do better. Very happy with him, spoke to him, so I think he had a great season for us, and it happens. But we keep going, we stay in the game, stick to the game plan, and I thought we looked physically strong. I thought the players looked strong and were intense throughout the game, even though we had a midweek game, which I'm very happy with the physical preparation during pre-season and everything the team have done, with big help from the performance staff at Tottenham. So the mentality, the physical aspect, I thought was key. And coming here where last year we came here and were 2-0 up, lost 3-2. Now we're 2-0 down and come back 2-2. I think it's good. And if there should have been a winner in my eyes, and maybe slightly biased, I think it should have been us. I think the amount of crosses, the amount of touches in the opponent's box, the amount of nearby, and also chances was more than enough to win the game. Exceptional. He was exceptional today. He was unstoppable almost, going forward. And I think also it was a bit unfortunate. It was Wilson who had to track him on the situation, because it was a little bit of a high pressure situation, the Brighton wonder goal. But he just completely took him out going forward. Very good, just top. Yeah, I'm very, very pleased with that. I think Xavi came in and did exactly what we thought he could do in that 10 position. Of course he had a good pre-season and he played 2 games in Germany and all that, but he's still coming into a team and all that. And I think on any other day he'd score a goal. He got a great finish on the first one, great save from Verbruggen. And the other one he missed times, and I think maybe he could have got an assist to Richie. Where Lucas takes the ball, he doesn't see him. I think he can play both. I think he can easily play the left winger. That can go more inside. I also think he'd have the right position too. Sometimes the playmakers, they drift to the side because there's no space in the middle. So I think he can do that. But 10, obviously he can play that as well. I'm very, very pleased with it. I think there was also a situation the first half, the way we sprinted back on our recovery runs, that's goosebumps, that's bread and butter. But you want to be a resilient team because we play against good teams and it will be difficult sometimes. But it's a good group of players, they want to perform. They are disappointed after the game. Even when we come back, they wanted to win, of course. I also think the overall performance played in, I think maybe this was our most complete performance so far in the season. I know you can say we conceded 2 goals, but I think actually there were so many positives overall in the game. Also the high pressure, the man-to-man, very aggressive. But as you say, that resilience in the group, that mentality is good.